So if you can just share, comment on social media, that would be great. And if you're following on even on YouTube, if you want to join our channel and understand more how the mind works and how to start being able to deal with whatever you're struggling with, that would be great. So thank you very much again. Let's get going on. What does this movie teach about the emotions? One of the first things that I love about this movie is that it teaches us that we need to deal with all our emotions. Every emotion has a valid reason to be there. Unfortunately, since we were kids, negative emotions were not welcomed in our family. Whether it is we were sad and you don't be sad. If you're grumpy, if you're angry, don't be grumpy, don't be angry, don't be this, don't be that. So in a way, what we started learning is that we were rejected if we were feeling something negative. And if you look at personal development in the last 30, 40 years, there has been different tendencies from big gurus out there to do the same thing. All of this, about The Secret and the law of attraction, positivity, you got to think positive, so the universe brings positive things into your life, or, positive thinking, gratitude, forgiveness, many things that have been used, of course, to help people, but unfortunately being used the wrong way. I want to address that a little bit more here. What do I mean with this, right? If we're feeling negative, and imagine one of my kids come in right now and says, "Oh, Dad, I'm feeling negative." Normally what people would start doing, right, is, as we talked before, the old school is, "Oh, don't be negative, don't be sad, don't be this, don't be that." The new thing that is coming, it has been a while, it has been out there for a while, but now with the movie and more names out there talking about this, is that we need to acknowledge and accept whatever is going on. So if my kid comes in and says, "Oh, Dad, I'm sad," instead of just shutting him down, I would say, "Hey, buddy, why are you sad? What's going on?" Right? I would try to support him through the sadness that he's going through. I need to help him deal with his sadness. If I just go and say, "Oh, don't be sad," what I'm teaching him is that it's not okay to feel sad. So I'm denying his experience. So what he's going to do is he's going to deny his own experience. So he's going to start learning that negative emotions have no place to be. And again, in the movie, you're going to see that as some emotions are kicked out of the mind in a way, more problems starts arising. So we need to validate, we need to understand that emotions, any type of emotions, come from stories, beliefs that you're telling yourself. So if I tell myself that I'm good enough, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel joy. I'm going to feel motivated. I'm going to feel ecstatic. I'm going to feel good about myself. But if I think about myself that I'm not good enough, I might feel sad. I might feel shame. I might feel guilt. I might feel something negative. So emotions, and this is what I want you to take from this, that the movie really portrays. I really recommend that you see it. I'm not, blasting. I'm not going to spoil the entire movie, but in the movie, they share that it's important to embrace and understand every emotion. And this is what I've been teaching for, now 15 years, that I want to help people embrace their emotions, because the emotions are the GPS that are going to be able to guide you into the subconscious mind to identify the negative stories that you might be telling yourself that you might not be aware of. So imagine that you're struggling financially. Okay, how does that make me feel? A lot of people with the law of attraction are going to start trying to say positive things about money, but they're not dealing with the root cause. And I have seen this over 15 years working with people all around the world, people struggling financially, or people having a lot of money, but struggling with their finance, even having money because they had negative beliefs around money. I'm working with a guy that he makes a lot of money, but he hasn't been able to save much money. He ends up spending it in a lot of, crappy things. So when we started talking, he realized that he's not being able to save because having money is not a good thing. So he needs to spend it. So we're going deeper into the mind to understand the story he's telling himself that is not allowing him to save money, to have some savings. Okay, so when we start understanding that emotions have a reason to be there, and I start asking those emotions, what's going on? Why do I feel sad? I'm going to start getting a story. I'm going to start understanding what's going on. Why am I hungry? Why am I sad? And at the beginning, the mind might say, oh, I'm sad because, people are driving like crazy. Okay. But why does that bother me? Oh, because imagine that, oh, we could crash in the highway. Okay. What else could happen if people drive? So we need to really find the story that we're telling ourselves. It has nothing to do with other people. It has to do with us. Maybe it makes me feel not good enough. It makes me feel inadequate. It makes me feel not seen because people are just driving. And there was a guy behind me in the highway that was, nearly bumping into me. How did it make me feel about myself? Not seen, not worthy, not valued, inadequate, or whatever. So suddenly, out of an emotion, of a situation I was going through that created an emotion, that emotion allowed me to see that I'm thinking about myself, that I'm inadequate, that I'm not lovable, that I'm not good enough, that there's something wrong with me. So I'm able to start accessing the subconscious mind, going through here we go, the movie over here, my emotions. I need to start validating every emotion that I have because there's a reason why it's there. If I'm able to do that, if I start asking questions, I'm going to be able to understand what is going on in my mind. What is the story I'm telling myself that is creating this cascade that is bringing me to the situation today? Some years ago, I was working with a woman that she was always going into negative relationships, into falling into the wrong guy, right? So when I asked her how she felt, what was going on, she would tell me that she felt really bad about herself because she was always falling for the wrong guys. What's wrong with me? So when we started understanding that when she was a little girl, her mom would talk really bad about dad, this little girl started making a list of the guys that she needed to find for herself. Seriously, people, although she made a very nice, list of good qualities she wanted in a guy, she would find the opposite. Why? Because when she was a kid, she was programmed to look for specific traits in men that were similar to what mom was describing to her for dad. So she was falling for that. So going through her emotions helped her understand how she was making herself feel like I'm not good enough, and then was able to understand that she was in that situation because of what had happened during childhood. So if we don't validate the emotions, we don't understand them, we don't support ourselves through those emotions, I'm not going to be able to really go deep into the mind to understand what is the story. And if I don't understand the story, it's going to make it nearly impossible to be able to reprogram. And I'm not saying that reprogramming is going to take overnight, like, oh, boom, just like that, I'm going to reprogram. No, but when these things come up, I'm going to be able to deal with whatever emotions are coming up, to release the negative charge from those emotions, understand the stories I'm telling myself, and start changing those stories that eventually are going to change my emotions, and the new emotions are going to create new behaviors. Because remember, what I teach all the time is behaviors are created by emotions, and emotions are triggered by beliefs. Belief, emotions, behaviors. If I want to change behaviors, I need to tap into my emotions to find the beliefs that I have created. When I start from there, it makes it easier. It doesn't mean easy. It makes it easier to start making changes. So I would really recommend you watch this movie. I really loved it on how it portrays the dealing with emotions. Stop really numbing them, ignoring them, or whatever, and seriously, it has so many amazing, teaching lessons in that movie from the start to the end of it. And I don't want to spoil it, so I'm going to say at the end, but watch the end, what happens with all the emotions at the end of the movie. I really loved it. I really recommend you look at it. It's going to really help you understand better about emotions and how we were programmed since childhood. It doesn't talk about it much in the movie, but how during childhood, I'm sharing this with you guys, during childhood, we were taught to reject them, ignore them, repress them, deny the negatives. And the law of attraction, spirituality, a lot of big names out there are teaching how to deny the negatives, how to ignore the negative emotions. Feel good, pose as a superhero, whatever different techniques they're teaching that make you stop supposedly feeling the way you do. But what you're actually doing is numbing the emotion, repressing it, but it's still going to be inside of you. And then those emotions normally, and more studies are showing this. Gabor Mate, one of the mentors I follow a lot, he has showed that there are studies that in cases of men or women, that maybe women in this case fall into people pleasing, they tend to have more probabilities of having certain diseases. So there are studies that have been conducted and are being conducted on how these unresolved issues could turn into disease in the body, because emotions is energy in motion, and many times it gets stuck in different parts of the body, and then it creates disease. And there's studies, medical studies, not just woohoo stuff or dirty stuff. No, science behind all of this, studies that prove that people that tend to be more angry, be more pleasing, different things have shown different diseases around the body. They're more prone to certain diseases. So it shows how whatever is not dealt here with our emotions, with our mind, it might end up in our body affecting us in a negative way. So again, dealing with our emotions, all of them in a more healthier way, is key to be able to change aspects of our life, right? If we're looking to, I don't know, feel more comfortable in asking for raise, asking people out, changing different aspects of my life, I need to deal with my emotions. If not, it's going to make it very difficult. I hope that makes sense. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy the movie. If you see it, let me know what you think. I really loved it, and I recommend it to everyone as homework if you want to have a healthier mindset. So thank you very much again for watching. Hope to see you next time. Have a great week.